So, this video post is about winning the smile of the end user. You know, I get fulfillment by seeing the smile of the end user when, whatever system I implemented, whatever work I did for the end user made a difference in their lives. We have had many users tell me, hey, I'm using this device and it's so much easier on my, wrist, so much easier on my, elbow. I don't have the carpal tunnel syndrome issues anymore, right? So that's what keeps us going. I mean, that's the real satisfaction behind being an innovator, bringing new ideas into the supply chain industry. That gets me excited, right? So this was actually when I started 2001. I was assigned to this project as a technical analyst, technical expert to help deploy this WMS for this company that was based out of Cincinnati. So these guys were a hardware vendor, and that was when, if you look at the history of the U.S., 99, 2000 is when the dot-com bust happened, right? I mean, there are a lot of people invested in this, technology companies, and everyone was hyping up this internet and so much, and a lot of companies. I mean, it was all you have to do is have a PowerPoint presentation. You can go to Silicon Valley and do a presentation and raise money. It was amazing, to see all these things happening, and the internet was so much hyped up, and it just all crazy things happened, and then suddenly the bust happened, right? I mean, the market crashed and many people lost their money. And then what happened was, if you look at the trend right after that, people didn't want to put their money in stocks. They wanted to put their money in the homes. So they started taking out a lot of home equity loans, and then did a lot of home improvements, improved their kitchen, improved their bathrooms, and so the home people started investing a lot in homes, and the home value kept on going up. So there was real estate boom that was happening. So this hardware distributor was exactly in that market, and they would ship so many fasteners, nails, and washers, and nuts, and bolts, and all that to the Home Depot and Lowe's, right? Those are the two major retailers here in the U.S. that sold this home products, right? So these guys were growing crazy. These guys were making their 2007 numbers in 2001, 2002, and they were like, they wanted to put in a really, really solid supply chain network, and I helped them with implementing this, first DC in Cincinnati. So when we did that, what happened was, I mean, obviously these guys, their story is a little different. They come from a smaller operation. They had a patented technology. They owned that technology throughout the U.S. and they leveraged that patent technology, and they saw this opportunity, with this home market booming so much. They saw this opportunity to get into this hardware business as well, and the CEO went and raised money from the VCs and all that, and they invested to expand, and that's how they set up their supply chain network. And so these guys didn't have a whole lot of experience in operating that big supply chain network. So they wanted to turn on their first DC, and it was literally, they went from nothing to Star Wars, right? That's how it was from a technology perspective. They had like 4 material handling equipment systems. I mean, there was a conveyor, there was a pictolite system, there was a mezzanine, and all kinds of things, right? And then of course there's a brand new WMS system, which is what I was helping with implementing for this big DC. So what happened was, it was with the lack of experience and with the complications involved with this 4 different material handling equipment, we almost doubled the budget. I mean, it was supposedly $500,000 budget, and then it went all the way to $1 million budget, and it was a crazy project. I mean, it was a crazy project, and finally we finished the project, right? And obviously the budget of the project exceeded the budget significantly, so there was a lot of distaste, bad taste that was left between both the parties, us and them, and what happened was, so we walked out, and then our SVP got a call saying that, hey, we expect you to be here in our facility at this time, because or else it sounded like hey, a lawsuit is on its way, right? Because the budget was only $500,000, and we spent $1 million, and they were not happy with that. So the SVP showed up, and they figured out what the issue was, and then finally agreed to a solution. And my boss and myself went there, and my boss spent a couple of weeks there identifying all the problems, and then he kind of gave me the direction, and then I was there and fixed all the issues, and then finally, when I walked out, everything was fixed, and all the things were in operation. But still, these guys, they're new to the system, they're still learning, and there's a lot of hand-holding that's needed. But they were like, said, all right, we'll figure it out. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out, right? That's how they went about doing that. So this was, I just did that, and then I took a vacation, and I went to India for a month, and then came back, and then I never heard anything from these guys for like next 3 months. And then once in a while, I'll just get some questions, hey, how to do this, how to do that, and I would help them. So after almost 8 months, these guys came back and said, we stabilized this DC, we stabilized the Cincinnati DC, and then we want to move on to the next one. We were like amazed. Oh, really? Wow, these guys should have done something amazing. And they wanted to talk about the next DC. So they invited us for a design discussion, and then we went there. And at that time, I saw all smiles on their faces. When I left, after the first implementation was completed, all the work was completed, and when I left, they were not happy. They had a sour taste in their mouth. They were like, oh, what is this we have gotten into? But they had a great team. I mean, there was a couple of guys that knew the system really well and had tactics to figure out whatever problems that would happen. They figured it out. They figured out a few things, and they were pretty independent to some extent, right? But I was amazed to see this transformation in the team, and they were all smiling, and they were all like, oh, this works great, that worked great, hey, you put in that fix, and that helped a lot. And it was completely, the transformation has happened, and these guys were like, wow, we love the system, it works so well, and it's awesome, and it gets the job done, and we are happy with the throughput and everything. So that was great to see for me. I mean, because that was one of my first projects where I was all the way from beginning to end, in the project. So that smile of the end user, right? That made my life, exciting. Wow, if you do a great job, and if you give them a great system, and if you, implement a good solution for their scenario, for, solving their problem, people are indeed happy, and you made a difference in somebody's life. So, that was, back in 2000, I saw this, and now I'm seeing, our devices, our software getting implemented in so many different places, and this was a similar client. I mean, they were, they didn't know what they're doing. They somehow trained their users, somehow, started using our devices, and then, there was like, oh, we didn't know this, we didn't know that for some time, and then now, almost after 1 year, I'm seeing them, and they are all full of smiles. They had great processes put in place, great procedures in place, and standard operating procedures, and they're perfectly using the devices the way it should be, and they're like, wow, this charges so fast, and this is so easy to use. Look at the keyboard and things like that. So it is, finally, I know it makes your life worthwhile when you see that smile on the end user with a tool that is helping them, solving the problem and helping them doing their job better, and adding value to their operations, right? That's what makes my life exciting and fulfilling. So what do you think? I mean, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Would love to hear your thoughts. Please let us know if there is anything else that we can help. Thank you.